to Richard Kumadoe, who is fraud and security consultant. Good morning to you.
Morning, Sana.
I hope you're well.
Yes, please. Even before you start the interview, can somebody tell my brother Raymond he's a head of a sensitive institution and therefore he's not allowed to speak to the press? In that interview he granted, I was increased and I had several calls to my phone. I'm yet to call the big boys to get to him. So I know you are a big person. Can you get to him? That what made the likes of Wafayao, the director BNI, Mr. Essel, Mr. Dugba, Mr. Kudalo, Mr. Tanga, and many of the great guys, and all of us who work, is that we get a job done. We don't speak to the press. I speak to the press because I have been allowed to, and I have to go through strenuous measures anytime I speak on TV and radio. I have the big boys calling to say, Richard, next time say it this way, don't say it that way, and say it that way. Because of what I know and because of what I have done and because of what I have become by the grace of God. When he was speaking, he gave a catalog of activities he was doing on the day and the tricks they were setting for him on that particular interview, particularly when he chose that platform. It was very dangerous. And I think we need to bring to his attention. He is doing well. He should continue in that regard. Thank you.
But do you see, because the concerns that are being raised, do you think they are genuine?
They are what?
Do you think the concerns are genuine? Because one of the things I've heard, let's start from...
No, so now, when we are investigated, even if you take Eoco out, the BNI does investigation, isn't it? The BNI collects intelligence on behalf of the state. BNI performs counter-intelligence. Eoco predominantly investigates and provides the services I have also mentioned in that regard. Financial intelligence, when the FIC has an issue and they want to investigate, it is Eoco and the BNI and the police who does the investigations for them after they have done the initial assessment from the bank and it has been established that there's an issue to be investigated. And so you realize that the particular case they were talking about, from what my brother Raymond said, he had a petition from Eoco. But usually they don't say that Eoco said you should, FIC said these cases need to be investigated. They are part of the pool of their daily activities and what they do. As investigators, what do? We arrest, we search, and we seize, and we prosecute, or we act as witnesses in court because the Attorney General is the number one prosecutor. Unless he gives it authority to prosecute, he is the number one prosecutor. So these are the things you do. If in the midst of all this, or in the performance of your statutory duties, somebody or a group of people feel their right has been abused, they seek redress in court. In line with that, the investigative agencies know that their work will be scrutinized publicly, and it can be litigated in court. So what did they do? Highest levels of professionalism. Then number two, they are circumspect, and number three, high levels of discretion. So these are the things they do. And if you look at the examples and the explanations he gave, besides the tricky questions and the traps they set for him and the entrapment, which forced him to say the things he said, which I think those are operational issues he shouldn't have spoken about. So now, this is a basic thing or the overview of what we do as investigators or persons who act on behalf of the state when it comes to investigating crime and collecting intelligence in that regard.
So from the perspective of an investigator, there's nothing that has been done wrong by Eoco?
Definitely not, because you see, when Eoco arrests you, or they say, Senna or Richard Kumadoe, you have become a person of interest or investigative interest, and you are invited or you are arrested. Normally, these are the two things. These are the two ways it happens. They either invite you or you are arrested. Before the charges are read to you, your lawyer has to be there. It has to be there. It's a statutory regulatory compliance issue, and it's a constitutional issue, and it's part of what we do as investigators. Your lawyers have to be there. But Sana, you remember that I have always maintained this point. that when you have come under investigation, it is not your duty or your responsibility, neither is it for your lawyers to dictate to the investigative agencies or to the officers in charge of the or the unit that has invited you. So if the police invite you, if the BNIs invite you, if Eoco, if NAPCO, if any of the investigative agencies invite you, and they make it clear to you that you have come under investigation, it is not your duty or the duty of your lawyer to dictate the pace or to dictate how the investigation should be conducted or how the documentation and many of those things should be done. No. So we need to get these things clearly. And it is the position some people in the NDC, when they came to power freshly, some of the things they were saying, it has eaten into the hairs of certain persons. So they think they are above the law and they to be treated in a particular way. When you do that, you create problem for the people. And if you listen to the explanation of Raymond carefully, you could see where they were dragging him into. And that forced him to tell them what he was doing, his itinerary for the day, and the details he put out there, which wasn't necessary at all.
That's interesting. Because if you listen to them, one of the arguments that they've made consistently is that, okay, so this is a man who was already on bail, he and his wife. You have dropped charges, you have rearrested him. That bail should still apply. So you should just have released him to go and perhaps come later to answer any questions that you have.
You are going into realms that you do not have control. In my work with the BNI, we can arrest you 10 times a day. That is what Eoco has done. Have they breached any law? No. Have they breached his right? No. Have they done something towards him? No. Is it within the law? Yes. Are they doing their work as professional officers? Yes. Who dropped the charges? The Attorney General. The Attorney General and Eoco are two different organizations. They are two different entities. And then Raymond told you the reason why they are being investigated, which he said it was a petition from FIC. Is that not it? And you remember that in that interview on Joy, Raymond was squeezed and was entrapped to speak to what the spokesperson for the Attorney General Department said. And he said, no, these are two different entities. And there might be several investigations into PDS. You don't know the aspect we are dealing with. And we will not disclose that because the only thing I want to talk about it is that we had a petition from FIC, and that is leading our actions. And if in the course of that, the brother or the sister felt their right has been abused, they can seek redress in court. But until that is done, we cannot box the issues together and try to knock our heads together. No, it is not done anywhere. You can be investigated by all the investigation agencies at the same time. So now, have you not heard that case that somebody moved from National Security Secretariat, goes to BNI, go to police, go to Eoco? You haven't heard that case before?
Yes.
It happens. So we should state it the way it is. Who dropped the charges against him? Initially, when the charges were dropped, you saw the narrative. It was all over the place until the Deputy Attorney General came and explained it. And when he explained it, it brought some level of clarity to why the charges were dropped and what their next action will be. That particular action has nothing to do with what the Eoco guys did, even though they may look similar or they may happen on a day. But it does not mean that you go to court. You can either go to court and you will leave the court and the security agencies may pick you up. Or if you've gone to court with a one particular case and you have been acquitted and discharged, another agency can pick you up on another case or a new evidence in relation to a different case, because you can be investigated on one particular crime or on different types of crimes within the same environment, particularly when you are dealing with issues of money laundering and financial crime and fraud.
I see, very interesting. So I guess that will be...
So now you need to read my book on criminal behavior, corporate crime, and investigation.
Please share one with me. I don't know. But I can imagine the difficulty of that kind of interview that he was having, because his power is the information he has, but that information he cannot disclose because that information will be the subject of of what is happening in the
Exactly.
court.
And the way our laws have been refined, it can be played up in court and say, you said it. You see, I speak to you. I told you I speak to you because I have been allowed to do it. Tomorrow, when I'm put in a sensitive position, you don't talk. Your Facebook account is deleted. There are things you cannot do, and they are all part of what comes with a job. What I say as a consultant or as a private person has different influence from what the director BNI says or what the executive director of Eoco says or NAPCO or what the director of legal for National Security Secretariat to say. So those are the differences and the different levels of infraction. If I make a mistake, it will not affect their work. But if they make a mistake, we are dead. And for that particular communication risks, that is why we say, Director BNI, you have been forbidden not to speak. Eoco boss, you have forbidden not to speak. IGP, if you want to speak, let the corporate affairs people do that. Because when all fail, it comes to you. So you realize that even with Attorney General, I was telling some people that we have been crying for Ministry of Justice. What we are having now, we have the two, that Dominic Ayene is the Minister for Justice and Dr. Sai is the Attorney General. So you realize that Dr. Ayene doesn't go to court. It's Sai who goes to court because he is the final person. And that is why it is done everywhere and it's so done so nicely. So please, we beg them. For 1.5 years, they have been on course. They should keep it that way and get a job done. If they come into this arena and they chose those platforms, you're going to be in trouble.
Interesting. There's two questions on the matter of bail that has been raised. In fact, the suggestion is that the argument made by Mr. Raymond is not tenable because that is not the legally determined basis for bail. That when you go to court, that's not how they determine bail. So you as an investigator cannot act contrary to the way the court will act. How do you determine bail as an investigator?
No, have we not passed this stage? You remember when Woodman was arrested? You remember?
Yes.
The issues that went front back. We passed this stage. The precedents have been set. When the guys involved in the SkyTrain was arrested, you remember what happened? For the purposes of public education, they gave them a bail and they went to court. And in one of the cases, the court slashed it for them. In another case, the court rather increased the bail amount.
Yes, vividly.
This year, within this administration. So those precedents have been set and we've passed that stage. Anybody using it as an argument might be playing mischief or do not really understand where we came from, where we are now. By regulation or by legal authority, the investigators are allowed to issue bail, even though the court also is a place for issuing bail. But investigators are allowed. Basic. They look at the exigencies of the time. They look at the personality involved. They look at the actual issues involved. And particularly if it is a money issue they are investigating, they look at the monies involved. These are some of the things among the many other things they look at that determines how much bail should be placed on your head.
And let me conclude with this interview. It's a very interesting one. Let's say you pick me up and Nancy comes to place the surety for the bill. Can that surety that she's provided now form a basis of investigation into? So maybe you are looking for Nancy long time.
That's what it. Anytime you hear they say it's weekend, we cannot go on site inspection. They are using that word inspection to let you know that it's investigation.
Oh, so they will investigate.
No, when they say they are going to do site inspection of the property you are providing and the person providing the property before you be granted bail, what do you think they are doing?
So you're suggesting that you could put yourself in trouble by putting up your property for...
I know, but you're putting your head on the line. This is what you are doing. That when this person is not there, pick me up. That when this person cannot pay the money, particularly if it's money involved, pick me up. That when this person run away, sell my property to pay. Is that not the basic meaning of putting your property on the head of somebody?
Yes.
And is that not why sometimes they will go and value the property and come and they say this property is worth less than the amount involved? You remember in the case of Tamawu to me, they were looking for the heavyweight to put money together. You remember?
Yes.
So that's exactly what they are doing. They look at the value, but anytime they use the word, they are going for site inspection to inspect. It's an investigation. We just don't want to tell you that it's investigation. So let me tell you this one for the purposes of public education. When you and Nancy, you have an issue with Nancy, and you report Nancy to me as a private investigator to investigate Nancy, actually, we will start investigating you first in relation to the case. So here it again. You have an issue with Nancy, my sister Nancy in the studio. You report to us, you give us money and say we should investigate Nancy. As a matter of fact, and as part of due diligence and best practice, the investigation actually starts with you, the reporter. First,
I have reported the matter. You investigate me.
Exactly, but we will not tell you. Because what do you think? That is why the investigators can tell you that the case you brought against Nancy, as a matter of fact, you are the one involved. And that is why we can tell you that because you know your back is against the wall, that is why you quickly run to us to investigate Nancy, to implicate Nancy. But actually, you are the culprit. Where do you think they get those informations from? And those conclusions. So actually, the investigation starts from you. So for laughter today, all persons listening to us, for the purposes of public education, you are dating Nancy, you marry Nancy. Then you come and say that we should go and investigate Nancy. We'll start from you. You are playing dodging something somewhere, and you don't. So if Nancy also come to us and say, Richard, I'm paying you money, investigate, and because we hear he's cheating, blah, blah, we'll start with her without telling her. And we want to clear those doubts before we come to you. So that's the way it works. So now anytime you hear they say they are going to the field and they are using the word valuation, what do you think they are doing? It's an investigative word they didn't want to tell you, so they coin it and they use valuation. Because what investigation anyway? Investigation is research, examination, searching into something, evaluating something. Those are the things we do.
Well, Mr. Kumadoe, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Richard Kumadoe is foreign security consultant speaking to us. Very interesting interview between. So there were two people at play. One of the things people don't notice is that Samson is a lawyer, has a lawyer's perspective. Raymond is an investigator, has an investigator's perspective. Those are the two things that clash when you arrest somebody. So, for example, when they said, Senna, we are investigating Alhaji Yunusa Hussein, come and let's ask you a few questions. When I went there, there was lawyer Victor Adaudu who had offered me his services pro bono. So, we went there together. At that time, the investigator was sitting there, and my lawyer have two different motives. They have two different positions when it comes to how the law should be operated during an investigation. So there was never going to be an agreement between Samson Ayenini and then Raymond Archer on how this matter should be treated. Because like I said, there are two different perspectives at play here. That's why Samson was saying that, you had already admitted him to bail. So why did he to release? That is what a lawyer expects to happen to their clients when you arrest them. That immediately you arrest them, you say, you're a big man, go home, come back tomorrow. But the investigator may not be thinking that. The investigator knows that I have 48 hours. Let me make use of those 48 hours with this guy. So that's
after 48 hours.
Yes.
Anything can happen.
So in actual fact, when you do an assessment of the facts, there has been no case filed at the court against Hanan yet. So it can be assumed that the first investigations that led to didn't happen. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We are now going to investigate you again and then put a new charge before court. So it's like a new process. So what it means is that it still gave Raymond Archer and his people 48 hours to operate with. But they said, over the period, it's not like as if they intended to detain him for long. The man comes in, and then they said, yes, he actually requested for, he said he was hungry. So they gave him meat pie and malt. Then the next moment he said his tummy. They sent him to the hospital. Spends most of the time at the hospital. Comes back. When he returned, that's why Raymond was saying that we do many things here. The fact that you've gone and come back doesn't mean we should leave everything we are doing and come and say, Ananabao, young question. No, it is said it doesn't work like that. Depends on our availability to you are now available. We are also in that moment engaged in other things. So give us some time, we'll attend to you. So they said that was, and when by the time they were ready, the lawyers for Hanan were busy granting interview. You see, and so that alone, but those are petty issues.
But you see, they have the opportunity to run to the media at every point.
He
and
doesn't.
Sell their story to the media. He does not. And that is why I am against that interview.
No, and that is the reason I understand
why he wants to.
To explain and put things in context.
I feel it shouldn't be him.
Okay.
It shouldn't be him. It should be somebody else from Eoco.
Maybe the deputy attorney, or maybe because they are the supervising.
They have communication, something. Okay. Those people. So that if they make a mistake, he, as the boss, has the chance to come and correct it. Do you get it?
Okay.
It shouldn't be him. For me, it shouldn't be. And I know where to address this matter. And I'm listening to everything, and I feel like the lawyers in this whole thing are trying to dictate to Eoco how it should operate.
Yeah.
How
from
the people,
perspective of lawyers.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
How, the people at Eoco should do their job.
Yeah.
That is it. And I'm also getting the feeling that because it's a officers at Eoco see Dami, they should be running up and down. They should leave everything they are doing and attend to Dami because he is former Attorney General. At this point, even if you are Attorney General, you do not say that we should leave everything we are doing and attend to you. Do you get it?
Yeah.
I don't get the whole thing that they sat here for 30 hours. Lawyers will leave their jobs and come and sit at Eoco for 30 hours. And you, one, a media personality. Two, a lawyer yourself, you believe that.
30 hours means that you sit overnight.
Do you get it?
Virtually sleep there.
How?
The next morning you are still there until something was done. So 30 hours is impossible for a lawyer.
You come and tell us that they sat there for 30 hours and then officers of Eoco didn't show. How? Then you, what's the name of the guy? Ladi, Samson, you believe that because Hanan's account has been frozen and all that, his passport's taken, he doesn't have a dime.
Yeah.
Apparently, and the rest who are talking and defending him from one media house to the other, they don't have money. If he wants money, you think they don't have money to give him? And these people, do you know how many passports they have?
What if they don't give him the money?
No, Senna, stop it. Do you know how many passports they have? You people, you are joking. Do you know how many passports and how many countries' visas they have in their passports? Do you know? And this whole bail amount thing that they are talking about, if you go to Eoco says this is the amount we are placing on you, and you think that it is too high, go to court. If you think that Eoco is doing something illegal, challenge them, because you have not heard anybody challenging Eoco in court. That they think that in this case or that one, they have, gone beyond their bounds. They are doing this that you feel is illegal. We have not seen that.
No, I think, okay, Richard Kumadoe was, referred to two. There were two, actually. There was one in which they reduced the amount. They took it to the court reduced the amount.
No, I'm talking about the Hanan case.
No, the Hanan case, no.
Okay,
No.
but we'll hear the likes of Apenyomakin and the rest of them in the media talking about Eoco doing that, Eoco doing this, which is not there, and I don't get it. And then I listened to the interview. I heard Raymond, and then they call in Apenyomakin, and I was like, what is he saying? Because I'm still trying to get the point when Raymond was talking and then suggested that when suspects come in to Eoco, he, as the head of Eoco, meets them at the gate, conduct them through the reception, then he will decide to read to them their, what do we call?
They are right.
Their rights. Okay. And then there and then decide randomly to charge them and then start the interrogation. Because when you listen to Apenyomakin, that is what you get. That is what happens when people get to Eoco. Okay. And I'm still trying to figure out at what point he got that idea.
From listening to
Raymond.
that he virtually does everything by himself.
Everything by himself. And so I'm asking myself the question, if Eoco is actually doing something that was not done under Raymond's predecessors.
Okay.
Are they really? They want to make the whole Eoco sound like it is Raymond. So is Raymond actually doing something that was not done under his predecessors? Is he?
Okay. That's a question.
And is Eoco not following its own operations procedures?
Okay. Before he came, there were procedures as to how this thing should
be
be handled. Okay.
Okay. So now that this person is talking about it, is he not? Is he not? So that we know that there's something, and has Eoco under Mr. Archer acted illegally? Like I have said, if they are, why are we not seeing them challenging what he's doing that they felt is illegal?
Okay.
Do you get it?
Okay.
Then, throughout the interview, you hear him, Mr. Asha, say, my officers. So when somebody else...
We were busy. Yeah, the officers
my
have moved on to...
officers, us. So when somebody else comes and says that he's making the whole thing all about him, he's like a one-man officer doing everything at Eoco, and the fact that he says that he leaves the office at 1 a.m. means that he's doing everything, then I am surprised and I am confused at the same time. Then I'm asking myself, are there particular officers at Eoco that Apenyomakin and his people want to hear or want to see that they are not seeing? Is it the fact that they want information they are not getting? Then that one day, I can promise him that those information he will not get.
That he's looking for?
No, if the head of the institution keeps saying keep saying my officers, we were at the office up until this time, my officers did that, then you come and tell us that he's doing everything all by himself. Then I am asking, are there particular officers from Eoco that they want to see that they are not seeing? Is there information they want that they are not getting? Is that why they are worried? If that is it, let me promise him that he will not get it. Those information he won't get. And those, like the particular officers he wants to see too, he will not see them. That is it. And Sana, the mandate of Eoco is clear. And Mr. Raymond Asher's job in an era of oral is not to make anyone or everybody happy. You are supposed to chase the loot. And
recover them.
And recover them. And when you are doing that, those who are suspected to be in custody of the loot will not be happy, including their friends, whether they are in the same government with you or in opposition. They will not be happy. And so he's not supposed to make everybody happy. Why won't Apenyomakin be talking? Because, of course, the people who have been mentioned so far, the suspects, are either his friends or his party members. So you don't expect somebody like him to be happy. Do you?
Okay.
You don't expect somebody like him to be happy. So we get him when he starts ranting, granting interviews from one place to the other, and you don't really get what he's about. So he should get it clear that he will not make them happy. And they should also get it that they will not be happy. And we all get it. When I hear SM being taken to Eoco today, tomorrow he's being bailed, tomorrow he's being rearrested and all that. His name is all over the place. I won't be happy.
Yeah.
And I will try to find faults with the person who is holding him. Especially when I also have information about what he has done.
Mm-hmm.
When I have a little insight into what he has done in the past with the position he was given, I will not be happy because I know where he's going. Thank you very much. And so Mr. Asha should know that he is not making people happy, which is his job, not to make anyone or everyone happy. A lot of people will not be happy with him.
Now, if you're queuing for a favorite watch, we can accept it. If there's one thing that Ghanaians can relate with, it is queuing. Queuing for trotro, we can accept it. We adjust, we survive. In fact, if queuing was an Olympic sport, we'll win gold. But one thing we can accept is queuing to swap your MTN SIM. Swap your MTN SIM yourself in minutes. Visit the My MTN app or dial *1333# to get this done as